Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Man, We're Too Old for This, here on the Nerd Turtle Network. I'm your host, the experience that some call Jason, and with me today is...
The token forgot to grab something from a manga, Tarky.
CDL-113, the droid you're looking for.
And coming to you live from the recumbent bike of pain, the Todd Mark.
All bikes are pain.
No,
And,
not all of them.
and today we're going to be talking about our favorite runs in comics. And, generally by run we mean, one writer's tenure on a particular book. Sometimes it'll be one long story, and sometimes they can be broken up, but...
One writer's particular vision.
Right. This can also be miniseries or that sort of thing. But so, who wants to start us off today?
I guess I'll start.
If you start last time, let Taylor start.
Okay, well, let Taylor start.
I enjoy the fact in the background we said, "Hey, we'll go Tarky, Danny, Todd this time."
Well, I was just talking about the intros. I wasn't thinking about that.
Oh, okay. Okay, my bad. I thought we had specifically lined it up, and then Danny was just like, "Hey guys, what's up? Gonna throw a wacky curveball in here."
Sorry.
For me, it's gonna be a little odd because the later sections of the run of this were bad. I know they were bad, but
a lot of runs in that way.
Yeah, but just how much it's my favorite is very based in the time frame I saw it and the circumstances around.
Mm-hmm.
Was the first run of Marvel Zombies. Because for me, I had not seen a whole lot of Marvel horror comics. My dad didn't particularly have a whole lot, and I don't remember Jason having a whole lot around for me to read.
Yeah,
so seeing something that was just over the top, kind of just gory horror, heroes dropping left and right from something, terrible happening, isn't something I normally saw a whole lot of. So I was just like, wow, this is super interesting to see this, this going on, how they're trying to handle it, how characters are breaking down or trying to fix it. It just, up until the whole, even the point of, finding a way to take down Galactus and eating him, I had a super problem with. And Marvel Zombies 2, continuing it, didn't have a huge problem with, but after that, it suddenly went way off the rails, and I was done with it.
Well, it was kind of an ideal that it only had so much life to it anyway that,
Yeah, it was a great one-shot. And I read a lot of one-shot mangas, and I'm like, hey, I'm fine with a one-shot. I understand. It's this run, that's the story, that's it, and I enjoy it.
But just crazy about them Silver Surfer. But other than that, yeah, it was a deal. I wasn't mad at it.
With me, I like the original run fine, as long as I pretend the last issue never came out.
Yeah.
Because they eat the Silver Surfer. Well, he's not made of flesh. They eat Galactus. He's an energy being. It had this build up like you were going to have Spidey, who was the only one that seemed to still have a conscience. You had all this build up like you were figuring, okay, they're going to rig up some machine to take out Galactus, and Spidey's going to sabotage it and take them all out because,
he realizes he's a monster.
Yeah. That's why he's the one that still regularly wears his mask. And anytime he starts to get kind of sassy with somebody, yeah, they'll just look at him. Hey, Parker, yeah? How's your aunt? And he starts to freak out.
Yeah.
And then it went, it took a left turn in the last issue that just was not good.
It almost seems like in that last issue, they realized, hey, this thing's popular. We can make some more money off it.
Yeah.
Stretch it.
Instead,
it was literally already a stretch because that whole universe came about through Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
that was their version of the Frightful Four.
And the trick was you were already dealing with alternate reality, so if you wanted to do another one, you just do another one in another reality. One thing I have learned about it recently that I like, that I wish they could have done, though, was, their explanation for how the virus got started was an infected hero from another dimension punched his way in.
Yeah.
And it's the century that they used. Initially, all you were going to see was enough of a guy that you could tell he was in a blue suit with a red cape.
Yep.
And DC basically caught wind of it and went, no. Or they were afraid DC was going to catch wind of it or something. I forget exactly, but
which is interesting considering they just did the DC.
Yeah, well, it's the company. That's because Marvel Zombies came out and was successful. The companies always bite on each other. Deceased is actually the second time DC has ripped that storyline off. Because Darkest Night was basically their Marvel Zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
the trick was DC. Yeah, that was the game changer when Superman got Flash getting infected real bad. Superman getting infected. It's time to get the hell out.
Mm-hmm. Now I didn't keep up with the Deceased close. Was that something going on in their mainstream universe that they managed to fix, or was that some alternate something?
No, it was alternate something like Marvel's.
Oh, okay.
Basically, it was Darkseid got to use Cyborg to finally unlock the anti-life equation, and it was like that movie Cell, where if you were on any kind of Wi-Fi or something like that, it just infected you.
Oh, okay.
You could still get it from bites, scratches, stuff like that, but yeah, the thing that caused it to jump off so bad was, thanks to Cyborg, it was coming through your tech. So if you had a cell phone or Wi-Fi or something, you could fuck.
So basically everybody.
Yeah, that was just it. It had infected most of the world before they realized really what the hell was going on. Batman gets taken out early. You got Damian running around as Batman. John ends up Superman. They were doing everything they could to keep the Flashes from getting it. The minute they managed to infect the Flash,
it was just downhill from there.
Yeah, because, he could infect God knows how many people in a picosecond. And that's, if I remember right, that's what, taking out Flash is how Superman got infected. Superman, once he was infected, tried to run off. But he basically died before he could get far enough away.
Mm-hmm.
And fighting Superman is what infected Wonder Woman. Then Cyborg came up with a cure, but Wonder Woman killed him before he
started up.
Huh?
As it killed him before he could get it started.
Yeah.
So
I want to say Harley and Ivy were the only two people that stayed on Earth until destroyed.
Weird choices, but alright. So, let's go. Let's go to Todd. Todd, what's your favorite run?
Original Hudlin run of Black Panther. Starting from basically the relaunch of who is Black Panther, all the way up till they replaced T'Challa
with Shuri.
I want to say that happened. Well, I know it was at the end of it. I think that was still on.
Yeah, I can't remember if he actually did that or if they did that right after him. I don't recall.
Yeah, that run of Panther was so great that Marvel went in a 2-year-long put Panther back in his place campaign. Because it was under Hudlin, and he was working with McDuffie, Dwayne McDuffie,
mm-hmm.
at the time who was writing Fantastic Four. So you had those books would cross over
Yeah.
story wise, was real cool. That was also, it was not Hudlin that had T'Challa beat the Silver Surfer, but it was under his umbrella.
Yeah, that was when the Fantastic Four. It was the post Civil
Yeah.
War Fantastic Four where you had Storm and
Yep.
Panther filling in for
Panther.
Reed and Sue.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that era through there. It's got some of my favorite stories. It's got the wedding, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed the lead up to the wedding. I enjoyed where he teams up with Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
kind of going on their little world tour. Yeah, that was cool as hell. One of my all-time favorite episodes is when they meet Storm, paternal grandparent.
Oh yeah.
That boy's gonna have brain damage.
Yep. And they get attacked by Hydra.
Hey, Grandpa,
And-
Hydra's at the door. Who? You know, Hydra.
Who?
Cut off one head, two more shall take its place.
Get in the closet, boy.
Which
Yeah,
one of
when
them
he
is it? Was it the
when
grandma?
Granddad
that
out-
hit-
Grandma hit the guy in the head with a skillet, with a cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
Granddad opened the door with a double barrel shotgun.
Yeah. They've been preparing for something like that since the 60s.
They've been trained by the Fruit of Islam. They've been waiting on Jedgar's boys since the 60s.
Yep. I love the grandparents at the wedding too.
Well, yeah, Hudlin got in trouble for that because of Granddad. When he saw Bush there, he was like, "What's he doing at my baby's wedding? He need to get on before he gets spit on." But yeah, I love his run. That is, Priest got me into the character. Hudlin made me fall in love with him. Hudlin's also where you get the MCU version of the Dora Milaje.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Priest's version was hot.
And there was only like two of them.
Yeah, and there was just two of them.
It wasn't like you had it wasn't a branch of the military. It was just these two bodyguards.
It was his two wives in training. That was it. But yeah, that's my run. That's the version that, truthfully, you get more. The movies are more influenced off of Hunt, and the cartoon was basically Hudlin's first.
Yeah. Is it
Uh,
Priest or Hudlin's run you get Mephisto's pants?
No, that's Priest.
That was Priest.
That's Priest. Okay, that was Priest where you had the Devil's.
Yeah, you got Priest gave you that. Priest gave you T'Chaka defeating Captain America in World War II. Though
Priest gave you the Dora Milaje, period.
Yeah.
You know, he created the Dora Milaje, period.
But like I said, Priest did the T'Chaka Cap fight in World War II.
Yeah.
But Hudlin went back over it first thing in his run.
Yeah.
And during his run, you had a Black Panther miniseries, Black Panther Captain America miniseries that took place during that basically starts off with that incident but tells an entire story.
Yeah.
It's the first appearance of legless Tiger Man since like the 40s. Or excuse me, armless Tiger Man since the 40s.
Armless Tiger Man. Yeah. He had legs, that was all.
Yes, that's what he fought with. And he was in many ways as lame a villain as he sounds. It's just the fact that they used him.
But yeah, that is easily my favorite run of Black Panther. He took what Priest started and ran. Because I can't remember if Priest's version of Wakanda had ever been conquered or not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. That was kind of a thing that I think went all the way back. They just never really got into details on it.
Well, no, because if you go back to the original, Wakanda had kind of been conquered. Claw fucked up, because that's where comic book Killmonger comes from. Because Claw took slaves. He had taken that whole family as slaves.
he had messed some stuff up. I don't know if he'd actually taken over. At least not any longer than it took, to call in backup.
Yeah, the original story has a very, Tarzan-y kind of feel to it.
Mhm.
White guy shows up, the friends trust him, and then the white guy basically tries to steal whatever treasure they have.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because that was Killmonger's thing. Yeah, Claw literally took captive, where that shit wasn't happening in the Hudlin run. They had never been conquered. You showed up in Wakanda and invited. One of you got to go back. One of you got to live long enough to go back. They don't come. And I think that was almost exclusively Hudlin.
He was certainly the one I can remember
know
doing the most with it.
Yeah, I know he was the only one to show it.
Yeah. That's actually the beginning of his run, as you see in the kind of the history.
Priest run was all about, gave you kind of the MCU Wakanda in that everybody kind of underestimated. Every K. Ross shows up to pick up the king of Wakanda in his Miata. Not realizing, that's royalty. You got an entourage, you got stuff. Because that's that first storyline of Priest, basically. Everett Ross going, basically underestimating Panther almost return.
Well, part of it was also the information they gave Ross. It's like, oh yeah, you're going to pick up such and such. He's from that little tiny country called such and such. Oh, okay.
Just what I said. It was underestimation. That was wrong. He didn't show up like he was picking up a king. He was showing up like he was picking up somebody from the bush.
Yeah. But that wasn't as much Ross as
one
it was the people that were above Ross.
No, that was flat out Ross.
Oh, that was? Okay.
That was flat out Ross. Dude. No, because remember, in that storyline, you end up finding out his boss, Nick, used to sleep with T'Challa in college. She knew better.
That's right.
Because that was Ross's current girlfriend. He finds out that his current girlfriend used to do Pam. Yeah. It was a story of underestimation that because everything in that story underestimates Pam. Ross underestimated. Mephisto underestimated. Priest was the one where you find out the Panther God is real. Because up till that time, Marvel had always treated it as just some jungle savage hoodoo kind of something.
Yeah.
Until basically Panther offers his soul to Mephisto. It's like, oh yeah, but take me, you gotta take all of them. And you have Mephisto going, but the Panther God's not real. And he goes, don't tell me, tell them. Mephisto had underestimated it, and the big turning point of that is when you find out that he only joined the Avengers to spy on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Priest run. Hudlin's run, Hudlin's run, the Wakandans are badass. And they're generational badass. That's why, that one, and the humor in that was kind of fun. Like I said, Storm's family was fun. The reason why his mom didn't like Monica Lynn, who was Panther's, classic girlfriend, because she never killed anything. She was like, I understand you never killed a person. Livestock? You're a warrior people child.
Yeah.
All right.
You kind of got a taste of that in the movie with the mom.
Like I said, you see a lot of Hudlin's influence, more so in Civil War than you do the actual Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
The Wakandans, when you have any dealings with them in Civil War, you tell ain't about that.
All right, well, let's move on. We've talked about Panther for a good while now. I guess I'll go ahead and go now. And I'm going to go with Reign of the Supermen. from back in the 90s. This was the first time that I got into the Superman book at all. Or I should say Superman books, because it was running through 4 books at the time.
Yeah.
And, you had Death of Superman. That had been a big deal. But I hadn't really been collecting it at the time. I forget if I wasn't... I don't know that I was necessarily collecting DC much at that point. I can't remember for sure. But, it got me into Superman. I was sitting there, you're sitting there trying to figure out the mystery to it. I like the new characters that were introduced in both the Man of Steel, who, eventually, it was John Henry Irons, eventually just became Steel. Him, your current version of Superboy got his start at that point. And then you had the Eradicator and the Cyborg, and reading through the books, both of them had a lot of stuff that seemed to imply that they would have been the real Superman, except that there was 2 of them. The Cyborg, he had the genetics, he had the tech, but the one that you end up finding out is the Eradicator, he's got the Fortress robots working for him, and he's using the Fortress of Solitude. And I want to say he's the one they fetched out of Superman's grave, so...
Yeah.
But he's brutal, so his personality's all off. Where the Cyborg, you never see where he goes. You never see what he's using as a base. And he talks about his memory being a little fuzzy, but he still knows who Lois is, all that jazz. And, each of those individual books, it was just a nice... it was a nice run getting introduced to these characters, or introduced to 2 of them, the other 2 representing kind of a mystery. And then you have the twist where you find out who the Cyborg actually is, and the War World, or Mongol shows up, starts trying to convert the War World. That's where Coast City gets wiped out, which is just what drives Hal mad and leads into my favorite Green Lantern run. And all in all, it was just a real good... the story was good, the art was good in all the books at the time. I got heavily into Superman. Where initially I had looked at him and went, well, I really like the Superboy, so I'll get that book. And it was like one other of them, I was like, yeah, and I'll get that one. Then I wound up just buying them all, because they used to number the Superman books. You had the issue number, and then you had the little S shield with a number that restarted every year. That told you in exactly what order you needed to read them in.
Yeah. Yeah, I had not been reading Superman myself until right up where they were going to kill him, so I started picking up those books. And then I was going to drop it, but then they started bringing these, others in. I'm like you, it's like, oh, I'm going to have to get all these. And it's like, jeez.
Yep. Because I want to say I initially started picking up at the grocery stores. Because it was a little bit before I was hitting comic shops regularly, I think. And your grocery store magazine rack didn't carry a lot of comics, but they carried Superman, so you were, I was able to get the run. But yeah, and it was just an enjoyable take on Superman, and I liked how it concluded, and
I liked how on the like you were talking about how they introduced the different characters that were replacing him. How each one had a unique personality of like you knew Steel was not Superman.
Yeah, they didn't try to make it seem like he was,
but like Superboy, for a while you actually start to think maybe he's regenerating from youth or whatever.
No, you knew he was a clone from jump. You see the Newsboy Legion bust him out of Cadmus. There's never any doubt that he's a clone.
That's right. They did bust him out. I forgot.
They hatched him out early because Cadmus was intending to grow him up, to accelerate his growth up to full,
Yep.
And present the world with a new Superman. Yeah, it was a Newsboy Legion that busted him out.
Where you find out he's got Lex Luthor DNA in him also.
That was like almost a decade later, though.
Yeah.
What you find out is that he's half human. Or no, what you find out was, let's see. Yeah, in
Yeah,
that
you
version,
out
what
he
you
was
find
not
out was
completely Kryptonian.
no. At that version, he was human. They couldn't clone a Kryptonian successfully. They had simply made a human and genetically mucked with him to give him powers so that he could appear like Superman. Because his only power set at the time was the tactile telekinesis, which you had hints of all through his run, because his invulnerability didn't work quite right. Every now and then he would freak out and stuff he was touching would just fall apart. It was later that you find out, oh well, he's actually half Kryptonian, and he gets a power bump as he starts to grow into the Kryptonian side of his abilities.
Yeah, I remember our buddy E hated the tactile telekinesis part, because he hates to think that, sunlight makes Superman think better. That was something that he actively hated.
But so let's see. I guess that leaves us going to, who did we have left? Danny.
I would have to say the whole run of the Contagion all the way into No Man's Land for Batman, because that was at the time such a unique story for me. You starts with Contagion, then goes into Legacy, then goes into Cataclysm, and ends in No Man's Land. It's this huge arc that ran through the late 90s for Batman, and it all starts out with a plague. That gets, people aren't social distancing. They're not doing what they need to do. And at the time,
they didn't even have the term back then.
Yeah. But like one guy's got the stuff. He sneezes on somebody. Then now you got 2 people carrying it. Then 3, then 5, it just escalates.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got Batman running around trying to find a cure. He thinks, okay, well, Poison Ivy's immune to all kinds of disease and poisons. Let's see if she can do a cure. And, you just go through all of that. And, by the time you get done, they've isolated Gotham, the island of Gotham, away from everybody. And it just really turns into a whole, Lord of the Flies or Mask of the Red Death kind of story. And when it finally ends, everybody that was in Gotham at the time is scarred in some way, whether it be physically or mentally or emotionally.
Well, that's kind of Gotham regardless, but yes.
And even the bad guys have a chance for a redeeming moment here and there. And, Superman pops in at one point thinking, well, I'll help. And he realizes how overwhelming this one thing has become, because, he decides, I'll help get the power started. He goes to the power plant, and he finds an engineer that was worked there. And he helps the guy, get the power back on. Well, he leaves. Well, when he comes back, now that guy's kind of like a small warlord negotiating where they're going to set power up, because, he doesn't have a staff, so he's having to do this by barter system.
Mm-hmm.
And Superman's like, but I helped you. He goes, yeah, but you didn't stay around to help me fix all the other problems. And it shows how much goes into a city or a town community, and it just really affected how I look at certain things in life.
I don't know. I think you're just fixating on diseases because of what's currently going on. But basically, you're saying but this was basically the start of an even bigger run that you were into, because you said you talked about how it worked all the way up to No Man's Land.
No Man's Land.
So basically, you had a disease, and then you had an earthquake, and
Yeah, it was a whole story arc, over four different runs that you see. All it takes basically is one bad day or one bad event for society to start falling apart.
Yeah, but it took 3 bad events.
Yeah.
It took 3 bad events in a hellhole like Gotham. Because you had a plague, then you had an earthquake, and then you had the government basically go, this place is cursed. Break it off from the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Really, it's like the writers through there were watching a lot of disaster movies.
Yeah.
Well,
Because you
around
told
that time
it
you
ain't
had
this
that.
ain't like Metropolis devolved into that. This was Gotham. Gotham was already there.
Yeah.
That was the excuse. Thank God we finally get to cut this damn thing away from everybody else. Thank God. Shoot anything that comes across here.
It wasn't just Superman that tried to show up and help. You had a bunch of your other heroes try and show up and help from time, and they would just get emotionally overwhelmed with what needed to be done. It was like, we'll never fix this, But Batman never stopped.
Because he's Batman.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And I imagine
I think
this crossed over into all the other Bat family books too.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm
It
sure.
crossed over every one of them.
Listen, this would have been after Nightfall, so you'd have had Azrael running around. You'd have had Robin, Nightwing, Catwoman. I think had a book through there.
The trick is, Nightwing might or may not have been there, because remember, Nightwing, when he got his own book, he got his own town.
That's true. That's true.
Good
He
old
would have been-
Bloodhaven.
Well, Nightwing
He went
does
to-
pop
he-
in because he comes
He went to
in.
Bloodhaven. Azrael was right through there, was pretty much a non-factor.
Well, he had a book because I'm looking at a cover with the Contagion logo on it.
Yeah, Azrael basically lets Batman know that the plague was connected to the Order of Saint Damas, and this was Batman had taken back over the mantle, and Azrael had went on to do his thing. But Nightwing was in Bloodhaven by this point, and he comes back. But when they find out that Poison Ivy may be able to do a cure, he comes back, and him and Huntress are trying to track her down and quell some of the riots.
And for any nerd out there that's going, it's not pronounced that way, we know it's Dumas. You have to forgive the droid. He hadn't had a memory wipe. He's all right.
It is Dumas, isn't it?
Yep. He's just like the guy that wrote Three Musketeers. It's Dumas.
Dumas, yeah. But yeah, I just thought that was neat.
Also, Azrael's first name is not Jean. Okay. It's not.
When
Okay,
did I
I'm
say
Jean Paul.
Jean?
Look, I live on YouTube. There will be somebody, assuming somebody actually listens to this, that will go, that's not how you pronounce that. So I'm pronouncing it so we don't get that.
We'll still get it, don't worry.
Well, that means they're listening.
No, it means they're not
True.
listening.
Well, or it means they're typing while they listen. There's a lot of possibilities here.
It's Dumas,
Endless.
damn it. It's Dumas. You pronounced it wrong.
So anyway, I guess that'll about wrap us up for today. This was some of our favorite runs. Let us know in the comments below. What your favorite run was, or why our favorite run sucked. Whatever. Any attention's good attention. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz.
I like that. Any attention's good attention.
Yeah, You're just trying to drum up views at this point. They can hate us as long as they watch us.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've
So
been
that
your...
mean- That mean you gonna do a pole dance next week?
I don't have a poll. Otherwise, no. So anyway, I've been your host for the day, the experience that some call Jason, and with me has been...
The droid, CDL-113.
The token idle champ, Tarky.
And coming to you live from the gazebo of frustration, the Todd Father.
Sounds like a personal problem. Anyway.
Go bike one out.
Ew. Okay, that's it. I'm cutting it down.
Yeah,
We'll see
that's
y'all.
gross.
We'll see y'all later.